everybody, welcome to Canish and Crafts TV. I'm Laura. We have Bunny next door. Now today we are looking at something really detailed, really pretty. We are looking at the lace Cascade card shapes. You can see your die set there. This is 250413. It is on a show price for you of $39.99, and you do have your 2.95 P&P on there as well, but obviously you are close to that free P&P bracket on there, so have a look if there's anything else that you want to grab on the website to push that over. The price on this is going to go back up at midnight tonight, so great way to grab it while you've got that show price. 20% of the stock of this has already gone this morning. Now I'm going to show you the boards and then we're going to jump right into the samples, because I feel the samples really show different ways that you can use this. So you do have your two main bases that you can see in the picture there. This is one of them, and you can see you've got your tabs down the side and at the front here. You've got mats and layers. You've got another tab here. Now this you can use to have it on the outside to get things more 3D. You can pop it on the inside as well, but I will show you with the samples. And you've got your mats and layers, you've got your tag shapes and your circles there as well. And then we go on to the lace detailed one. So again, you've got your tab there and here. You've still got all of your mats and layers to go in there, but you've got this beautiful lace detail, which is just so pretty. And then you have your two, I want to call them like blocks. These will make these. So you've got score lines on them. You will glue these up and they will give you these. Now these again have got multiple uses, because you can use them on the inside or on the outside of your projects. I'm gonna, oh, you could, Bunny's just said you could glue them together as well to make them stick out more or to make them longer. So lots of different ways of using those, but I'm going to show you the samples because I feel like they show how everything just comes together very lovely, and so many different ways of using them. Now you could use them, if I can open it, on the front of a card. So you can see there you've used that lace detail and cut those tabs off, and you can use it as a panel on the front of your card, which just looks stunning, really pretty. And you will see Eternal Grace are the dies that the design team have used. So all these florals back in papers, because this is an expansion pack on Eternal Grace. Again, you can see there with that panel there in the background, and you can see if you mat the larger one on top of the one with lace, you get that delicate lace detail going around the edge of that, which just looks absolutely beautiful. And then almost making it into a card shape. How pretty is that? The detail on the lace, they are absolutely stunning. You can see how those florals just fit in there. Everything from Eternal Grace just fits in there. So pretty, and you can see how that card has been made. So that's using it as a card. Again, we've got another one here as a matte and layer. So I'm using them on the front of your card. Even white on white there, you can see how much detail you get in these. Another one here. Look at that. So pretty. Now, what if you use them back to back to make a completely different shape? It does look like a love heart. Do you know what it made me think of? And I have no idea why. It made me think of the stands that they put the music books on. I don't know why. It made me think of one of that. Because I've done one of my demos like this, and that's what it made me think of. Or using it. So there's so many different ways that you can actually use these. Because you've got those tabs there, the choice is yours of how you pop these together. So the actual thought process with this and the design of this is to be like this, almost like a little box. So it'll stand up like this, and then you can pop these on the inside like that, and then you can pop your decoupage onto them, or you can pop actual flowers into these, or you could pop a gift in there. So if I hold that up like that, so you can see that is how it stands. Let me just hold that flower back. And then you can tuck these in, they fit perfectly within there. So you could pop your decoupage on there. You could pop flowers on there. If you make flowers, you could use those. Obviously, you could buy flowers and pop them in there, but that will act like a little pocket for you to put things on, like your flowers, and then you've got your flowers to come around the edge then, so you can make a box like that. Then we've got another one here, again made as a card. Barbara's done this one. How that is a showstopper. That would definitely catch your eye, wouldn't it? Absolutely lovely, and I think it goes so well with the flowers as well. It's so delicate that it looks amazing, but it doesn't. It's not too much. It doesn't overpower you. That just looks so pretty, just in white with the green. Just that simple cut there just elevates that card so much. Looks absolutely lovely, and then you don't have to worry about so much about the composition of your cards, because you can just pop in like this one. You can go in and just tuck your flowers in around this, and even though all of these samples we're showing you are with Eternal Grace, there is nothing stopping you doing that with any other flower collection that you've got from Carnation, because that would just work with all of your florals that you have. Right, let's do a demo. So I've already cut out the two main panels, okay, because when you get your dies, you can see they are big dies that you're getting as well. You've got two of the main parts that have got those tabs on, so you can see there you've got your tabs on each side, so that's giving you your score line. You don't need to go in and grab your scoreboard. The score is in the dies, so the dies are doing all the work for you. You can see you've got them there, so it is a really nice size die that you get in. So I've cut the two of them out, so you can see where your tabs are with your score lines in already. Now we're going to glue this together, so I'm just going to glue the inside of this one, and then this one is going to just sit in there. But because you have these tabs like this, you could cut one tab away and glue the tab to this one, and then that will give you a card. So, or you could cut the tab away completely and have it on the front of your card, or you could even use it like this. You know, you will have to make a box for a card like this, but even if you wanted to, you could use this on the front of your card, and that could fit on the front of your card, and then you could even put like a gift card in there. So you could put like a little gift card, you could put flowers around it, and then have a little gift card sticking out. So there's so many different ways that you can actually mix and match these up. Now I'm going to glue the tab on the bottom, and we're going to glue that on. Actually, I'm going to grab a different pair of tweezers, and then while that's holding, because nothing wants to hold, it all wants to come away, pop that there. Right, now I'm going to leave my tweezers there, hold that bit. So I've got your box essentially ready to go. So let's grab the next bit. So I've already cut out some of the mats and layers, because you do have these that will just sit on there like that perfectly, and it looks so nice with the white and the green. It looks really fresh. So we're going to pop those on there. These are the perfect papers from Eternal Grace, which works really well with this. But like I said, any floral collection would work with this really, really well, because you can just decorate this with flowers. I mean, it doesn't even have to be flowers, really. You could decorate these with absolutely anything, because you can tuck in and you can pop those in, pop the characters in, make your scenes around here. So there's going to be lots of different ways that you can actually build this up. So I'm going to go in now with my layer. So I'm going to go in with the green from the Perfect Papers first. So that is just going to sit on there. It looks so nice with the green and the white. I really like green and white together. So let's do our next layer. So you can see, and sometimes if you make cards and you think, oh, my cards look flat, this would add so much dimension to your projects. You wouldn't even need to. You don't need to go in like I'm doing and add, you know, your foam in between those layers, because you've got so much dimension in there already. Even if you pop that on a card, you could tuck absolutely anything in there and you've got so much dimension on there, because the box itself is almost giving you the height, because you've got that height there in between those two layers straight away, because you've got those tabs built in. And then for the last one, I'm going to go in with my glue. And we're just going to pop that on there like that. So I've got my green and my white layer. Now that already, I think, just looks really pretty. It looks really clean and simple, but still very, very detailed. Now those tabs, so these parts here, now you can see this is going to give you a cut on the outside, but these lines here are your score lines, and you've got these in the 2 different sizes. So you can see there, them are giving you your score lines. Okay, so you've got your 2 different sizes. Like we said, you could pop these together if you wanted to make them bigger, make them longer. But the lovely thing with these is, and you will use those with other collections as well. Now you could pop one of these on the front of your card. This could be anything. This could be another card that you're making as well. Pop that there. And then you could pop your decoupage on top of that. Now if we go to the other, I'm not going to glue it, but if you go to the other camera, can you see how much dimension you can get just by using those tabs? Now that's the bigger one, but the lilies on this completely covers that. So from the top you can't see anything, but you can see how much dimension you get, how that stands out from the back. So you can see there. So you could do that with your sentiments even. You could use it with your tags. You can just to get the height in your projects. But the other thing that you can do with these is use them on the inside, which is what I'm going to do now. So if we lift that up, so you can see that will just stand up like this. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of glue. And then I'm just going to use my finger, and I'm just going to go in and put that slightly at an angle and stick it to the box, not my finger. And then pop that in there like that. And then that is just going to sit there like that. So now that bit, you could use that if you wanted to for your decoupage. So you could even use that. So if let me grab a bigger one. If I glued this onto that, you can see now how that looks as if that's in the middle. So you're going to get even more dimension, because then you can pop that there, you can pop something else at the front and something else at the back. So you're adding in lots of dimension and layers with this. Or you could go in, because this was kind of the inspiration for this, and pop in So you could pop flowers in there. If you are somebody that makes flowers, or you just love gifting, I mean, that's, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 small flowers. So you could make your own little flower arrangements. Oh, the tab's coming loose. To give as gifts. Can you imagine giving those as gifts? So you can pop those in there. You could carry on. So you could, nothing stopping you now. You could carry on, decorate in the front of the box. So you could add in all those little bits. You could pop like a gift card or a chocolate, something like that there as well. So it could be a complete gift to somebody, but still as a card, like that. So you can absolutely do things like that as well. And that's only a small little arrangement I've put in there. Like if I turn that to the side and show you that. Oh, no. Oh, there. So you could see how much more you could actually fit in that as well. So you could really build that up and have that with your florals in. So you could do things like that as well. And then, so what we're going to do now is I am going to go in with the lilies. So the ones from Eternal Grace, we're going to pop these on the front of here and build these up. Now I've also got 2 of the little tabs. I adore these. The shape on these I absolutely love. These are again in that collection. Okay, so you've got 4 in there. So you can see that. So you've got your 4 tabs there. You will use those so much, and they're a lovely, lovely size, and they will just fit with so many collections. They're really, I love tags or like a label shape or a sentiment shape that I know I can just slot in, because I will make a card and then the last thing I think about is the sentiment. So I always need to like try and make my sentiment fit with whatever I've already done, because that's always the last thing that I think about. So I am going to go in with the label, lilies, and the label. I'm going to pop that there. And then I'm going to use this on the bottom, almost like my grounding element. That's just going to sit there on the bottom. So I'm going to pop that on there like that. And then I've got my next layer in on those labels. I've just stamped a sentiment on. Just realised where that sentiment's from. I don't know if I can say. It's from something next week. Sneaky peek. So let's add these in here as well. Then we can just add in some dimension to the front that fits in with that then in the back. Really nice. So all those florals, those vases that you can just pop and decorate on the front there. You remember, like I said, gift cards, flowers. There's so many different ways that you can actually go in on the inside and decorate those, but then that will just stand up like that, and you can really see how you can build that up. I love just the detail on these. That lace detail is so pretty, and it's lace detail as well. So think of those collections that you've got at home already that you know you can pop on the front of this like that, and they're going to work so well. So pretty. So that's our first demo using the lace Cascade card shape die set. So it is 250413. It is on a show price for you for today. It is going to go back up at midnight tonight. So that show price is $39.99. It is going to go back up at midnight tonight. Let me just grab. I'm trying to think which one to do. Let's do a card, because I feel like that. I want to try and use it in as different ways as I can. So we're going to try and mix and match it up as much as we possibly can. So we're going to go in again. So all of the demos I'm using, they're all the perfect papers from Eternal Grace, so you know where they've come from. And we're going to make a card with this one, because I don't want you to look at it and think of one way of using these, because I think this die, it's one of them that you do think of other ways of using it. You'll see one of the samples and you'll think, I'm going to use it like that. And then when you make that, you think, oh, actually, if I do this and this, it's going to look completely different, and you'll use it in a different way. And you'll always just find new ways of using it. I think because those tabs are on there, it gives us more variety and more creativity with this one. So let's pull this off there. So I've gone in with like a solid cream colour, and then I'm going to go in with my patterned one, which is just going to sit there. So I've got my card base ready to go. Then let's just move these out the way. Right, so then I've gone in with my cream card, and I've cut out the lace detail that you can see is just such absolutely lovely detail. Now I've cut it out in cream, so it's just solid casa, because I'm going to flip it round. Okay, now like I said, you do have the tabs on these. So you've got your tab here on the side, and you've got your tab down the side as well to make it into that shape that we just showed you. So for this one, you can see I've kept one of them. The other one I've cut away, and those side ones on the bottom I've cut away as well. Okay, so what we're going to do now is flip this round. So we're using the back of this one, and we're going to glue down this tab, and then that is going to glue onto there like that, which I just think looks so pretty. It's like you look at it and you see that bit first and you think of a heart, but then when you see it all, you think, oh, I haven't seen something like that before, and you're instantly drawn to it. It looks so delicate. So that is going to go there. Now this is going to sit like this on the bottom of our card, so that's just going to sit there like that. So we're going to go in. So I've done the exact same thing now with the next one. So this one here with those tabs again, done exactly the same thing. So you can see I've got one with the tab on and one without. I've cut those away, and we are going to glue them together like that. So you could do the exact same thing with this shape as well. So that is going to go on there. This might just be me, and Bunny might completely laugh at me for this one. I've got no idea why, but you know, like that, because it looks a bit thinner, there's a certain trophy, it makes me think of it, that. A trophy, yeah. I don't know, but I think it's a football one. But it's just made me think of a trophy. It might just be my lack of coffee, I don't know. But when I just did it, I was like, it's made me think of a trophy. I might be completely wrong. Probably. No, it's probably what is she on about. Right, let's pop that on there. So we've got our lace one that is going to sit there, and then we've done the exact same thing with the solid, which is going to sit right on there like that, which looks absolutely beautiful. Such detail in these, but again, it gives you that really unusual shape straight away without you having to go in and think about it. All you're doing is die cutting. The dies are doing all the work for you. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 die cuts there, and already that just looks absolutely, it looks really unusual. It draws your eye in, so detailed. So we're going to go in now with the next matte layer. So these are the ones that I showed you go down the side, so the ones you could use down the side of the front of that like that, and these are going to go on there. So I'm going to glue the pattern one to the cream. Oh, we've had a message off Linda saying, good morning to Laura and Bunny. Another die set to add to my wish list. Oh, and Audrey Brown has emailed in saying that she's been making cards for a long time, but she's feeling very inspired by the cards. That's such a lovely message. I hope everybody's doing well this morning. I think everybody's in a good mood today because the sun is out. So lovely. I feel like everybody's just happier when the sun's out. I am. I'm definitely a sun person. So I'm just using pin flare for this, just for speed. This is going to go on there like that. So we've got our card there, and then what I'm going to do next is, actually I'm going to pop my sentiment on there first. They are my favourite. Bunny's laughing because I use these sentiments all the time, but they are my favourite sentiments. So I just think that I love the wording in there as well, because you can use it for so many different occasions. Even though you're putting a sentiment on it, you can still use them for different things as well. See, like this one's "You are wonderful," so that could be an anniversary card, a birthday card, just a no occasion card. You can just use them for so many different occasions. So let's pop this down. I'm going to just pop that along the bottom there. And then what I'm going to do is, I've got some of our florals then, and we are going to just tuck these in and around the sentiment. So I'm going to probably cut some of these down, and then I'm just going to add in a little bit of glue. And then what's lovely about these, because you've got those layers, you can tuck these in between those layers. So we're going to go in there. And put that one there at the back. So you can just add those in and just keep going. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the other side as well. And then you can just go in and play around with the composition of these until you are happy with how they look. So you could add in as much or as little of these as you wanted to, and then you could build up the front part as well, because you've got all those flowers in between each of those layers. So you could go in and add different ones in each layer as well, and just keep playing around with it. So you can see how you can just tuck them in and then just keep playing around with these until you get to a point where you are happy with what you've added in. And then I'm just going to tuck that one in there like that. And then if I lift that up so you can see. So just another way of using it as a card base. So, and that's cream on cream. So you can see we've got cream card there with the cream from the Perfect Papers, but it still just stands out so much and draws your eye into there. Really, really pretty. So that's using the Lace Cascade card shape die set. So you can see there it is 250413. We are over 25% of the stock has gone now. It is on that show price for you, and that is until midnight tonight. So it is $39.99 until midnight tonight. After that, it is going to go back up to full price for you. I'm going to show you the bows so you can see exactly what you were going to get in here. Now you do have your base here, so you're going to have two bases that you can mix and match these up. So you could have the lace at the front, you could have the solid at the back, you could do it vice versa, you could even tuck them in between as well. So there's lots of different ways that you can use these bases. But you can see they have score lines on for you, so the die does all of the work, and the same with these as well. You can use these as inside tabs, or you can use them on the front to give you that dimension on the front. But you've got your mats and layers, you've got your labels, and you've got your nested circles there as well. And then your other base is this stunning one with that lace detail going around the edge. So you can see your tabs there with your score lines, your mats and layers, and that beautiful lace detail. And then you have these tabs that you can use to make almost like little rectangle boxes that will fit on the inside. So if I just grab that one, so you can see you can pop them on the inside if you want to tuck something in, or you can pop them on the front. So if you wanted to, like this one, I could have popped that on there and then pop this sentiment on top to give you that lift for them. But if you do put them on the front, don't worry, because it will just fold flat, so they'll still fold flat for you to post, and then they'll just pop back up. But you could use them like that, and you could also, Bunny said, a nice idea of actually gluing them together as well, so you can make them longer or you can make them wider, so you could play around with those as well and glue those together and play around with the size of them. I'm going to grab a different box of samples so you can see some different ways of using them. So Vera's done this one. You can see they're making that into a card. How pretty is that? With those birds coming down. So you can see all of the samples are from Eternal Grace. If you're wondering where the dies or where the Perfect Papers have come from, it's all come from that, and we will actually be doing a show on that at 12 o'clock. So if you want to see the these dies in more detail, then make sure you come back at 12. Then we have one here. Look at that. So again, using it as a card shape. So Sue has done that one for us. Really, really pretty. Then I've got one here. Janine did this one. So you can see they're using it as that box shape. How you can build those up, and you can build your florals behind. How pretty is that? Dog condolence card. Aww. And then I've got another one here. So Vera's done this one, and you can really see how you can build those flowers up behind that lace if you want. Just a little floral on the front. Looks so pretty, but you still get that dimension on the inside in there, and you can see like that. So pretty. We got another one then made as a card. So we got one here by Pam. made there using your matte layers on your card front. Looks really, really pretty. I got a lovely one here by Barbara. Oh, look at that. So Barbara still actually made it into almost that box shape, but popped that on the front of a card. That anybody walking past your stall or your stand would instantly stop to look at that. And that's white onto white as well. All of those layers are white, and you can see how effective that is, just white on white. Looks absolutely stunning. Then I've got another one here by Sue. Made up as a card. Really, really pretty. They all look so different, don't they? All look completely different. We've got one here by Barbara, made into like a card shape. So many different ways of actually using these. And then I've got one here by Vera. So using it landscape instead, but it still works so well. Even flipping it round and using it landscape instead of portrait looks so well. And Barbara has still, no, Vera, sorry, has still used it with the tabs there to give you that dimension of that shape. Really, really pretty. So those are just some more examples from the design team, so you can see exactly how they've used their lace Cascade die set. I just think there's so many different ways of using it. The samples, they all look so different, but they've all had the same die, but yet they all look completely different. Right, let's move these bits of the way. Right, so this one we are, and I can pick it up, we're going to make a card with this one. So we made the box, and we've used like the matte layers onto a card, but this time I thought I'd show you how to make this actually into a card. Now this pad is slightly bigger than this solid area here, so you can either have this behind the lace, so you can see you get that matte and layer around there, or you can have it on the front, and then that just covers ever so slightly a small part of the front of there. So you can mix and match those up in ways that you use them as well. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put the lace in the back. Now, like I said, you can see your score line is in there, ready for you. I don't know which way is that way, I think, isn't it? There. So you can see you've got your score line, and you've got your score line there as well, so you can see that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut these off. So you can use your paper trimmer, you can use your guillotine. I just use my scissors. Just like I said, that score line is there for you. So I'm not doing anything complicated. I'm not doing any type of fussy cutting. I'm just following that score line all the way to the top. So we've cut those two little bits off, and then this one, we are going to just snip away that bottom tag. So this bit there, we're just going to do the exact same thing and cut that away. And then this bit, we are going to glue. So I'm just going to score that. And then this bit is going to glue on the inside of there, like that. So the other thing you could do is you could do it back to front and glue it on there. And then if you were using your matte layers, you could cover it with your matte layers. So there's different ways of bringing that together. So let's just pop this on there. And then all I do is just line it up like that. So now that will just stand up like that. So we've made the card now using that, so you can see they come together and we've got our card. So now we can go in and do our decorating. So we're going to go in with the matte layers first of all. So I've got, that is like that, the lovely cream with a floral design on it from the Perfect Papers. So I'm going to go in with the blue for this one. And I'm just going to add some matte layers to the front of this. And then we can pop this on the front of that, like that. That's going to go on there. And then we've got the same cream next, and we're going to pop that onto the next one. So this is just going to set on there. Grab this, and then that is going to go on there like that. There you go. So we've got our matte layers. Now already all I've done is 4 die cuts for this. We've got our back matte, we've got the front lace detail, and then you've got a matte and a layer, and that to me is a card that I instantly get drawn to, instantly look at. That's going to stand up perfectly. You've got that shape there, and it just looks eye-catching straight away. Now I do have those lovely labels again, and I'm going to pop some foam on the back of this one that I've done in white, and then the next one I've got is in the same pattern cardstock that we've done in the background, so keeping everything matching. You can see that will just tie in with that now perfectly. And then we've got some of our flowers. So these flowers, like we said, you will be able to see in more detail in the 12 o'clock show. So if you do want to come back for that, which I hope you do. And this just fits that shape perfectly. You've got exactly that same curvature in there, so that just sits in there lovely. And I'm going to go in with some of these blue flowers to fill in with that blue matte that we've used. So this is going to just tuck in there, I think. So that is just going to tuck in like that. And then let's cut this one down. And that is going to just tuck in there like that. And then we're going to tuck this one in on the back. Now, before, my sentiment is just you're blooming lovely, but again, this, when you look at it like this could be a birthday card, an anniversary card, this could be so many different occasions that you could actually use this for. That's going to just tuck in there like that. So again, I'm tucking those in between those layers. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this that we glued earlier, so those little tabs. I'm going to stick this to really give me some dimension. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lift that up and I'm going to tuck that now like that. So I've just tucked the end of that flower in there like that. I'm just going to use my pokey tool just to push that down. Got that there. And then I'm going to grab my sentiment and I'm going to put the glue on here so I don't glue anything that I don't want to. And then I'm going to pop that on there like that. So now when I lift that up, well actually if I just leave it there for a minute, can you see how much dimension that you get on that? That really does stand out from the back. Now you could use those with your flowers as well. You could use them to pop the sentiment there, so the sentiment's sticking out from those flowers. But you can see how much dimension that actually gives you, and the same for the inside as well. So if I pop that up now, that is just going to stand out from the back and from those flowers. So when that card sits up, that will just stand like that, and you can really see like all that detail in the back there. It just looks so delicate. I love there was one sample that we've seen where the design team member has used vellum around the back, and I just think, do you know, that little soft touch, because you really see all that detail, but it doesn't take away from anything else, so it works really, really well. But obviously that is all from that lace Cascade die set. So if you do want to make some of these stunning cards the design team has made, you are going to have to grab the die. Now it is on a show price for you, so we'll go back up at midnight tonight, so it's a great saving if you can grab that before the price goes up. Now I am going to go through the boards again before we get to the end of the show, just so you can see exactly what it is that you are getting in this set, because it is a big, I'm going to grab my die set actually just to show you, because it is a large set that you're getting in here. Let me just put mine back tidy. This is the only time that my dies ever look tidy. So you can see there, look, it is a lot. This is the extra large, isn't it? Yes, extra large magnetic sheet that we have on the website, and you can see that fills that space lovely, and you can see all of those dies in there. So they are big. You do have your mat there, so this could be the front, this could be the back, this could be the inside. You have your score line, you can see your score lines there. So that is going to allow you to be able to make that almost like a box shape with these, but it doesn't have to be a box. It could be, this could be the front bit that sits on the front of your card if you want it to be, or you could use them as layers in their own right. You've got your corner massing layers there, you've got that lovely label that I was just using, your circle, and you've got your massing layers there for that oval. Now this has a score line on it as well, so you could even use that. So if you made one of these, you could use that to sit on the inside to add your decoupage on. You could use that at the front as well, so you've got another layer sticking out on the front too. So there's lots of different ways you can actually mix and match these up. And then you have that beautiful one with that lace detail on. Again, you do have those score lines, so everything's in the dies. The dies are doing all the work for you. You've got your massing layers there as well, so you can add in all those massing layers onto that shape as well, because it is a really unusual shape. And then you have those tabs, so that's what I was just showing you on the card that we just made. So you can see there on the front of the card to pop your sentiment up, so you can see how that works. And again, your score lines are on there. The score lines are in the die, so you don't have to worry about trying to score them, trying to measure that out to make sure each side is even. It is in the dies for you. or you can use it on the inside, like that one there. And then with this one, you can use things like this, where you can just pop in your florals. And then you've made your flower arrangement gift bag / box. And do you know what I love? Because you're using those tabs to hold that up, you've got space there. So you could add in like a small chocolate bar or gift tag, gift card. You could add something into the bottom part as well if you wanted to, some chocolates. So you've got room to add more in as well. Or you could just build up more flowers and have the flowers going all the way down. So you could have the flowers going all the way down to the end, like that, which I just think would look so pretty. So lots of different ways of actually using that. I have just been told we are now 30% of the stock has gone. I'm going to grab some more samples to show you, because I do feel the samples really do bring this to life. Even if you were using it as a card base, or if you were using it to make the card, making it into a box. There's so many different ways that you can actually bring these together. So you can see just using the mason layers there on the front of a card, you can use it like that to tuck your flowers in. Use it as the box there, which just looks so pretty. So mixing and matching those in. You can see how much dimension you get on these. They look so pretty, don't they? And all of these have been used using Eternal Grace, but there's nothing to say those floral collections you have at home already are not going to work with these. This is a card shape that is going to work with so many collections that you have at home already, using the lace and the lace there as a card. So mixing and matching them up, or putting them back to back to make this shape, which just looks so pretty, or using them like this. So you're just cutting that bottom area off to make this a bit shorter, and you've got a completely different card again. You got one there. You could use them landscape, you could use them portrait, and then I've got one more. Look at that. So using there's two of those lace ones back to back, just looks so pretty. That's a real showstopper card. Your eyes instantly drawn to that, and you would charge a lot for that card as well. Such a pretty card, such an unusual card as well. You can see that lovely one by Barbara. So we did this one, just so you can see that, using it as a card shape. Then we did that one, so we made it into the box shape, so you can see there with the tab inside. And then we did one where we did use them back to back as mason layers or on to a card, so you can see there how you can do that one. And again, you know, different colorways, looks completely different cards. So I wouldn't look at this, that and that box and think they've all come from the same die set. So, and it is because one of the beautiful things with this set is because we have those tabs on there, it gives us more options, because you could use the tabs like that to make it into a card, or you can cut the tabs off to make them into layers to change the shape, or to make it into the box. But because those tabs are there, we've got the option then of whether we want to keep the tabs there or whether we want to take them away and mix and match them up and change it completely. So the choice is you with this one. So you can see there, this is the last Cascade card shape die set. We are 30% of the stock has gone. It is a show price of $39.99 for you. You do have your P&P on that, but you are quite close to the free P&P mark. So you might be able to grab in some other bits in there as well to push you over your free P&P. I always look for, like, you know, my glue, propane paper, things like that your essential bits that you might need. That brings us to the end of our first show. So we will be back at 12 with Eternal Grace. So all of the dyes, the flowers that you've seen the design team use in the show today, if you're wondering where those have come from, then grab a cup of tea, grab a cup of coffee, and come back and see us.